My name's James Cameron. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Mission Motorsport, the Forces Motorsport charity. And we're here today at Goodwood to celebrate an event that we run here every year called the Meyrick Cox Day, which is in memory of a former chair of our Board of Trustees who sadly passed away in 2020. My background is in the Army. I served 17 years in the Royal Tank Regiments. About 10 years ago, I was just coming back from Afghanistan. A little bit broken, I think, by the experience, but also I had a lot of my guys who were affected and impacted by that tour, and I saw the impact that it also had on the families. That led me to be particularly driven to be able to do things to support them in their recovery, and I have a background in motorsport.
Whenever I can, I come along to a Mission Motorsport Day. Meyrick was a great friend of mine. I know he was the chairman of the Board of Trustees, and I know that he left this planet having done more for people than perhaps they did for him.
Yeah, my name's Paul, and served in the Royal Marines for just short of 22 years. The Royal British Legion Industries Village, where I live, had been offered a few spaces. I got a phone call asking if I wanted to come and have a day out, get to meet other veterans. Initially, I said no because I struggle with it, but then when I was told that it's all veterans anyway, it's all like-minded people, you're going to be fine, then I jumped at the chance and came here, and luckily, as I said, I've met up with one of my mates who I served with as well, and I'm very, very glad I came. Say yes to every invitation that you get. It's usually with me, it's the initial, before going, it's the anxiety that I get from it, which I never used to have until I was medically discharged for PTSD, and it brought on anxiety, depression, and everything like that, all the associated mental health problems with it. So I turn a lot down, but as my friend said to me today, he said, just say yes to everything. Once you're there, you're fine.
Motorsport was almost entirely unregulated. Because of peculiarity of the way that military sport is structured, there was no real structure around motorsport, and in some cases it could do more harm than good. Some of the things which I would have used to have done in the past to raise money for service charities, instead I used to inspire some of that audience who'd been broken by their military service. And when they started getting jobs through doing it, we realised that it needed to be done professionally and at the right level. And as a result, MOD decreed 1st of March 2012, Mission Motorsport was formed as the Forces Motorsport charity.
I'm Tom Fox. I'm a veteran, and but I'm also the director of Fortify. So I came to know James through the charity. So James had invited me down here today, and I'd originally met him about 5 or 6 years ago. I was invited down as a veteran who at the time I wasn't very well. I had mental health issues that I was just sort of learning to manage at the time. And I was invited here by the charity to come out on the track days, and it was amazing, you know, to actually come down, just talk to people, get in the cars, get out, meet other veterans, and just meet other people, really. And so I've always had a soft spot in my heart for James and what he does. I mean, it's a fantastic organisation. It really is an amazing charity. Specifically, what James does and what the charity does, you know, placing people into jobs with, you know, massive companies like JLR, for instance. I think it's amazing.
Sport is the tool that you use to unlock something, and it's actually about taking people on a recovery journey such that they end up able to support their families, you know, for the remainder of their natural lives. We're really proud that Race, Retrain, Recover programme that was first envisaged back then, you know, maps across to sport, training and vocation, helping people into jobs. We've just celebrated our 10th anniversary as a charity, which has been an amazing moment. Days like today are about new beneficiaries, is being used as an attraction tool. If you're honest with somebody and you sort of say to them, look, we want you to come to an old Second World War air base where, you know, it might well be raining, a bunch of people that you don't know of different shapes and services, will introduce you to a stranger who will scare the living daylights out of you. You might end up doing some, you know, basic mechanical tasks that might be irrelevant or way beneath you. And then we're all going to have a bit of a group hug and talk about PTSD. They wouldn't come near you with a barge pole. But if you say to them, who wants to come around Goodwood Motor Circuit, you know, on a summer's day in a racing Caterham, and it's managing the queue. And on that simple deception, the entire charity has been based.
All money is gladly received. So if you've got cash in your pocket, send it, because we want it. It's a fantastic charity that effectively aims to take service people that have come out of the services and put them into something automotive. It could be into motorsport itself, it could be the motor industry, making cars, it could be anything to do with motors. But I also think if you have a small business that operates as a supplier, come and get involved. You don't have to be Jaguar Land Rover or Bentley. Anyone's welcome. And honestly, it's a humbling experience. I don't think anyone ever leaves a Mission Motorsport event without thinking, blimey, the reason why we all mince about with liberty is these people look after us. So yeah, come along, get involved.
We now run training and employment programs across the automotive industry. So over the years, what started as a really low-level volunteer-only organisation delivering recovery sport is now a professional organisation that delivers a recovery sport program from grassroots go-karting to thousands of beneficiaries a year who are either wounded, injured or sick, or have fallen by the wayside in some way. They're brought to us by other service charities or by MOD because they're struggling with that transition. Days like today are all about social mobility. They're about widening people's horizons, giving them the opportunity to meet people who otherwise they'd never have the chance to meet, including their peers, and to find inspiration and support and solutions to things that they might be tripping over, that they're not alone, they're not the only ones going through it.
My name is Alex Goy. I'm a motoring journalist. I write about cars and make films about cars. I've been involved kind of loosely on the periphery of Mission Motorsport for the thick end of a decade now. I've covered them with stories on Carfection. I've written about them before, and I try to get involved where I can, but if I can help with fundraising or awareness or bringing a car down and taking people out on the road on a day like today, I'm more than happy to, because it's such a wonderful organisation. It gets people out, it gets them involved, it gets them doing something that might be a little bit different, might be a little bit alien, or has been on their bucket list. If it's I've always wanted to ride in a Mustang, then Mission Motorsport can make that happen. Or if it's even wider, say someone needs a job out in Civiland, Mission Motorsport will do that for them as well. It builds confidence. It builds people back up where maybe they might not have been in that situation before. What it does is incredible. Mission Motorsport is such a welcoming, inviting, wonderful organisation. It wants people to leave in a better state than when they arrived. If someone isn't smiling at the beginning of the day, I'm pretty sure a few hot laps around Goodwood in a Caterham will turn that frown upside down.
Along the way, we've had a number of sort of landmark things. For us, the first Invictus Games in 2014. Since that first Invictus Games, we've helped run Jaguar Land Rover's Armed Forces Engagement Scheme. And that's put into that one company more than 1,100 soldiers, sailors and airmen into employment. We helped Toyota, Tesla, Peugeot, Citroën, DS, Vauxhall, Bentley are here today. Morgan signed the Armed Forces Covenant just this Saturday, just gone, and they're doing it on the back of the fact that they're putting people in jobs and they're seeing the value that comes from it, and they're seeing the value that it takes from linking to the Armed Forces community. So in total, we know more than 2,500 people have found employment, but more than 300 of those have been wounded, injured or sick, and been helped very deliberately by the charity into things that for some they never would have thought possible, and that's a wonderful thing to get to do.
It's been absolutely fantastic, brilliant day, really, really enjoying it, so good. Driver absolutely amazing. Never experienced anything like it, so it's just so nice to be able to come along and sort of just have the experience and help and support charity as well.
There are so many ways in order to get involved with the Armed Forces community, and starting to count is one of the most important bits. So you've got a large company with 3,500 people. How many of those are veterans? Starting to have some metrics, starting to think about, okay, so who within our organisation is, and how do they add and contribute to the organisation, can actually help the organisation go, this is something that we like. We would like more of people like these. How do we go about doing it? Or for us, it's always fantastic to be able to bring new companies alongside and help them meet the people we're talking about and turn a perception of what a veteran looks like into a, crikey, I never knew that they served, and to recognise the fantastic qualities that many of these people have.
Well, my name's James Rose. I was injured in 2009 in Afghanistan, and I first came involved with Mission Motorsport in 2021 actually, when I started working for SSGC, who were one of the sponsors. It's just a great day out. I mean, just seeing like people's faces, the way they come in here and change and stuff like that, takes the mind off like a lot of the mental health struggles and stuff like that. I mean, they come in here and it's just, even if it's just for 30 minutes or something like that, or even 10 minutes in the car, they come out a completely different person.
We've got an interesting future ahead of us. The electrification of the automotive industry is a huge opportunity for those who've served, who probably don't know that they've got the behaviours, the skill sets and the competencies that industry desperately needs as the automotive industry is re-rolling into this new sort of electrified future. The MOD, with the success of the Mission Automotive Initiative that we run with the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders across the industry, asked us to look at how we could do a similar sector initiative into the renewable sector, looking at green careers, green sector jobs for people to be able to go into. And so this is a new avenue of work for us under the Mission Renewable label. But what it represents for service leavers and veterans and their families are the most wonderful opportunities to step into new employment as well. For the tech companies, there are people out there who can add huge value to the business. And being able to step into and harness that in a deliberate fashion, we help lots of people on that journey. And if we're able to help Cloudera, then I'd be delighted. Days like today are absolutely fantastic. But they're not possible without sponsors who help us to make all of the other days of the year happen, where our charitable impact is delivered by us employing people who've got the capacity to help our beneficiaries. And so that's an irreducible bill to come and do volunteering days and be connected with an audience of people who are inspirational in their own right. Can be a fantastic thing to do, and we would welcome it. Days like today are run by the volunteers, not by the organisation.